So you want to no prep CMs. This guide is mostly targeted towards people who are on the verge of no prepping. Maybe they're prepping and they want to no prep, but they don't quite know how to go about it. This is aimed at getting you over that line. Before I get into the food management, there are a number of independent concepts that you'll need to understand and be able to execute if you want to no prep. There's 5 of them, and I highly recommend looking up independent guides on YouTube if you want to do these, because I'm not going to go into detail in this video. The first is the 0 or no damage Tecton walk. This is important because the only piece of food that you'll typically be bringing in that you can eat after Tecton is the anglerfish. You need the brew and the sweets for vanguards. Less important with sweets, but I like money raiding and sweets aren't conducive to that. The second is vanguards. Vanguards, you need to be able to execute these while taking low damage, and that means understanding the room completely. I highly recommend looking up a proper vanguards guide because you've probably been taking a lot of unnecessary damage because you've been prepping and you know that you have the food for it. Third is the tightrope skip. There is actually an alternative to the Kirby skip that involves flinching the rangers and then hitting the mages. However, it's quite complicated and it has the potential to go horribly wrong and mean that you'll have to prep anyway because you don't have a P-neck or locator orb or purple sweets to complete the Kirby skip. Fourth is the Vasa teleport skip. This is important because it lets you get extra bow hits on and stops you from taking unnecessary damage. And once you're in floor 3, you can't take extra supplies out of the chest. 5 is the Mutadile safe spot. When killing the big Mutadile, there is a tile that you can stand on that once he's eaten from the tree will stop him from being able to hit you as you outrange him with the twisted bow. Once you have all 5 of these concepts locked down, that should be everything that you need in order to really get the no preps down 100% of the time. So we essentially have one brew until we finish Vanguards because we eat the anglerfish after Tecton. We're only going to tank 1 hit at Tecton, which is why we can just bring the 1 anglerfish and be okay. There is a way to do it with 0 hits, however, I learnt how to do Tecton when I was venging myself, so I was always tanking the 1 hit just because that extra like 15 damage can sometimes be the difference between him going to the anvil and him dying instantly. I flick rapid heal here because I find that the extra 5 health it gives you for vanguards can actually help you complete the room in case you get bad RNG, but it's not that big of a deal. It's really important that you don't take any blobs in Shaman Room because that's going to make you have to do Vanguards very defensively, which is going to tank your time. It's okay if you take some of the explosions from the spawns, but As long as you're above 30, 35 health, like, it shouldn't matter. As you can see, after using 3 doses of brew after shamans, and the effects of rapid heal, we're at about 99 HP after running down into vanguards. This gives us 1 dose of brew for the entire room. This is standard if you don't take any damage at shamans, or if you don't get an unfortunate ruby proc getting dragged at crabs. These are our supplies after killing the vanguards. 4 of those brews and 1 of those restores are going to be what we reserve for Ulm. So when we get to the chest in thieving, we're going to bank 1 of those restores and all of those brews, because we just simply don't need them for Vespula or the 3rd floor. This means that when we kill Mutadal, we'll get the 2nd restore and the 5th brew, which is full supplies, so there's no risk of being undersupplied when you arrive. We overload here because it gives us a convenient overload timer for during Vasa. It means that our overload will either run out at the start of Vasa, during Vasa, or right at the end, which means that we can overload, get the heal, and brew up to full health, running into Mystics. We now have everything that we need for both Vespula and Rope and the entire 3rd floor in our inventory. As you can see, we banked the 1 restore and the 4 brews, and we withdrew everything that we need going forward. I'm not sure if this is the same if you're using sweets, but with a locator orb, you can destroy the locator orb and have the required inventory slots to complete the 3rd floor, which means that you don't need to hit the bank chest after killing Rope. As you can see, I used the 2 dose of the spare restore because we need this 1 restore for the 3rd floor, and I used the full doses of the enhance. This is because we'll be picking up the enhance from Vespula. This isn't the most efficient way of doing inventory management. You can bank the overload from vanguards, and that will mean you don't have to pick the overload up at Vespula, but I prefer this, as this way you can pick all the pots up from Vespula and run straight to the 3rd floor. There's no reason to use the bank chest as we now have everything that we need for the third floor, including the 2 brews, 2 restores, 2 inventory spaces to pick up the brews of Vasa. It's important, but not essential, to hit the Vasa skip. If you do get teleported, the 35 health loss is manageable using 2 doses of brew, but it will mean that you have to play safely in Midadal and Mystics. I highly recommend looking up a guide for Vasa skipping, however your preferred method may be, if you're having trouble with this.
Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now.
Sticks in solo CM, I highly recommend looking up a YouTube guide that'll explain it more thoroughly. Feel free to take inspiration from my actions, but they're not the best way, and don't think that they are.
Backbeat, the word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads we have to walk are winding, and all the lights that lead us there are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. Because maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my one.
These are supplies that we have after finishing the 3rd floor, including the brew and restore that we picked up at Midadal that are reserved for Olm. Here, I overload and enhance, and using the surplus brews and restores, heal to full stats. You might have seen me camping Oathblade during the small Midadal kill. This is a small time loss, however, I prefer it because I'm lazy and I don't like flicking. Equip your ZCB and Book of the Dead to smuggle an extra brew in, though this isn't necessary if you missed a ZGS at Midadal or if you miss a single Eldamore on Olm, as you won't have enough spec to use the ZCB spec. Pay attention to how I start phase 1, as this is a way of taking 0 damage, which can actually make a difference sometimes.
But they'll never throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you're not to do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads that lead you.
I'm now going to let the rest of the on kill play out. I'm assuming that you have 3-1 scythe, like how to set it up and how to fix it if it isn't locked down. I highly recommend looking up 8-1 and 12-0 Shadow, because some of the P1 and P2 starts, as in all the P1 starts, lead directly into that, making it kind of intuitive to pick up. I highly recommend looking up a more advanced Olm guide, and you'll see exactly what I mean. It's more easy than you think, and shouldn't present any difficulty.
And all the lights that light the way, a blinding